I feel the gravity pull and it keeps me away. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all. I'm taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy. I live my own life in a new galaxy.
Hopefully the light adjusts and doesn't make me look weird. But I'm in the process of editing this video right now, and I realized that I didn't record myself talking about the workout after. I really like to talk about my workouts right after I do them. I tend to do that like over the phone. So like if you have someone to call, typically like who's also into the gym, I would probably tell them how the workout went, and then I would tell them what I did in the workout that was just really, really nice for me, and tell them about my experience on how I do things and how I feel things, and then I suggest that they do the same thing as well. So if you have someone who you can call and talk to about basically your lifts, or anyone at all that you can talk to, maybe your gym buddy or like a family member, anyone that you go to the gym with, anyone that would care to know, I would just tell them about that. That way when you're telling them about that, you're also learning what you are doing, and it's kind of like processing in your head, like kind of like the same concept with like if you're trying to learn something, you can also teach another person like how to do it, and then you usually gain a better understanding of how things work, which I personally have learned, and I have practiced it for a very long time now, and it's just something that I do. But anyways, so back to the lift. Since I'm currently on my hypertrophy sort of phase, I'm not deadlifting as heavy, I'm not taking it nearly as far as I did when I was focusing the powerlifting side of things, where I was trying to get as strong as possible. So I do deadlifts, and then I do hamstrings with deadlifts. Before, I didn't work my hamstrings specifically by themselves, just because I felt like it would mess with my deadlifts. So I didn't do them personally, but I know that some others might, and it's just personal preference at that point. You just gotta experiment with things. You gotta do things, like you really just have to experience things for yourself. So that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna take anything away from this video, it's you gotta learn about things that you're doing, and then you just overall have to experience how things are for yourself. So if you feel like what you're doing works for you and you are making progress, the progress that you want to make, there's really no other reason to not follow that. And if someone else comes in and tells you like maybe this isn't as optimal as they have experienced or whatever, I mean, you can take bits and pieces from it. Like you take it with like an open mindset, saying like, all right, maybe there's a better way I could do this, or like, I don't know, you'll be able to figure it out. But I did deadlifts, and then I also did hamstrings as well. And then in the video, I didn't record the hamstrings, but I did hamstrings that day, and then I did my bicep curls, and I believe that was it. That's kind of how that day works. It's typically on a Tuesday. Sometimes I'll deadlift on Thursday. It really just depends on how I'm feeling. But I do an upper lower split. So I go upper lower all the way out from Monday to Friday. I do have Saturday as a dedicated day for arms sometimes, but also Saturday is like a rest day for me. So I'll do Saturday rest day, Sunday rest day. But if I want to go to the gym and I'm itching to go to the gym, I'll just hit arms on Saturday. So that's what I do for that split. Which brings me back to why I am splitting up the way I am training. So like the 6 months, the 6 months of powerlifting, I saw a crazy strength gain. It's the first time I ever focused powerlifting movements and heavy compound movements, like for sure. And then swapping over to bodybuilding for another 6 months, where 3 months I'm going to be maintaining, and then 3 months I'm going to be cutting. And basically, like, as it starts over, it's going to be another 6 months of bulking and powerlifting. And then essentially, like, I'm going to do my best to keep, like, powerlifting movements and the hypertrophy movements, like, in the same thing, but I'm focusing mainly on the powerlifting movements during those 6 months. So 6 months powerlifting, 6 months bodybuilding, or 6 months of hypertrophy work. I'm not sure if this is like most optimal. I'm not sure if this is like the best way to go about things. This is just how I personally have like kind of learned or like figured things out. The past year, I did about like 6 months of bodybuilding training, so hypertrophy, and then I did another 6 months of powerlifting. So I did squat, bench, deadlift. All three of those lifts went up. Bench is probably my weakest one. I'm sitting at like 285 right now, and then I'm sitting at a 405 squat for reps. I haven't tried going heavier than 405 just because failing squat for me is so scary for some reason. And then I have a 585 deadlift. So that's what I've accomplished within the past 6 months that I've focused powerlifting. And within those 6 months, I've focused the training portion like a whole lot. I always go hard on all of my lifts. And then I also focused the food portion. And the food portion was the biggest portion. I feel like that made the biggest impact. But yeah, anyways, this is probably going to be the end of the video. I was planning on getting another workout in, putting together another video, but I'd very much like to post more, so I'm gonna just make this the video, and then I'll have a video probably for next week. So I think the next day that I'm gonna record is probably gonna be an arm day or shoulder day. I'm thinking shoulders because I've been really loving my shoulder days lately. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in that video.